What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Midterm Rental Show. I'm your host, Bailey Kramer, and in this episode, I'm going to be answering the most frequently asked questions I get about midterm rentals. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, question number one. Are midterm rentals more profitable than Airbnb or long-term rentals? And I have experience running both midterm rentals and short-term rentals for several years, and I can tell you that midterm rentals overall are more profitable. Airbnbs can sometimes bring in more revenue, but with the constant turnover and more maintenance to amenities, midterm rentals are more profitable. Question number two, how do you keep occupancy high year-round for a midterm rental? So one of the beauties of midterm rentals are one booking that you receive could be a 3, 6, or even 9-month stay. So obviously, if you have a 9-month stay, you don't have to do much to have a high occupancy because boom, you've got that guest. Now, if you're doing shorter stays, let's just say 3 months at a time, then what might happen is you might have gaps in between those bookings, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. And what you can do then is lower your minimum night stays to host 7, 10, 14 night stays. That way you fill the gaps and earn money in between those two great bookings. Question number three, what furnishing budget should I expect for a midterm rental? So as a rule of thumb, you're going to be looking at between $10 and $15 per square foot. So let's just say the property you bought is 1,000 square feet and you're looking to furnish it. We'll go right in the middle and say $12 per square feet. It's going to cost roughly $12,000 to furnish that property. Now that's if you're going to be buying brand new furniture, which I highly recommend if you're doing a furnished rental. If you're going to go the super cheap route on Facebook Marketplace or Goodwill, sure, you could spend a lot less, but the quality is not going to be nearly as good, and the looks of it probably won't be as good either. So $10 to $15 per square foot is a perfect range to estimate furnishing costs. Number four, what are the biggest risks of midterm rentals? I would say the biggest risk of midterm rental and kind of any asset class in real estate is going to be vacancy. So vacancy is the number one killer of profit, and that is the biggest risk. The beauty is we have guests that are staying for 3 months, 6 months, or even longer, but it takes effort to actually get those guests. So if you don't get those guests to book your property for that long, your property is going to sit empty and you're going to be coming out of pocket for the mortgage. So that is the absolute biggest risk, in my opinion, of midterm rentals. Question number five, how long should my minimum night stay be? So what I do with my properties is I do a tiered system, and it also depends on my occupancy percentage, but I typically like a 28-night minimum just as a base generic rule. Now, if my property is empty, then I'll probably lower it to 5 to 7 night minimum if someone's going to book the property within 7 days. And then I'll start to increase that number the farther out. So if someone wants to book my property 4 months in advance, I won't do it unless if they want to stay for at least 90 nights, if not longer. And again, this is the key to getting midterm stays and not just a bunch of short-term stays. Question number six, what are the best platforms to list midterm rentals on? So if you're doing midterm rentals, number one, you got to be on Airbnb. Even though everyone preaches direct bookings, Airbnb is still a huge platform for midterm rentals, and they've even started to cater some of their commissions and stuff to lower it for midterm rentals. So Airbnb is trying to get into the midterm rental space, and honestly, I'm all for it. It makes it really easy. The second place where I highly recommend that your property is listed for a midterm rental is Furnish Finder. That's a no-brainer if you're looking for traveling nurses, relocations, and construction crews. I've gotten all three of those types of people from Furnish Finder, and it's been great. The third best platform is connecting directly with relocation companies and getting your properties listed in their databases. That way, if they have a family who needs a property in your area, they look at their list, they see you and your property, and they give you a call to book it directly. Number seven, how do I price my midterm rental? So just like with really any other type of real estate, you need to look at the comparable properties nearby. So what I like to do is I like to go on Airbnb and Furnish Finder, and I look for properties that are most similar to mine and see what they're charging. Now, if there's a reason why I can charge a premium, I'll absolutely do it, but you have to be realistic and understand that the tenants get to choose what properties they rent, and they're not going to just pick your property for a lot more money for no reason. So that's how I use Airbnb and Furnish Finder for pricing. Question number 8, how much time does a midterm rental actually take to manage per week? So this is tough because there are some weeks and there's even some months where I will spend like less than 10 minutes on a specific property. That's if everything's smooth, there's already a tenant in there, and there's no maintenance needs or anything like that. So in the perfect world, it takes basically no time. But when there's maintenance calls, when there's turns, when there's new guests checking in, then there's more time that is required. So if I were to average it out, you could say 2 hours per property per month, I would say. But obviously, again, it just depends on the property, the situation, and what's going on. Question number 9, what mistakes do most beginners make? The number one mistake that I see beginners making is they choose markets that are oversaturated. So they just like find a market, they for some reason think it's going to be good for midterm rental based off of no data, and then their property doesn't get booked, and then they wonder why. So that's probably the biggest mistake. Now, the best way to combat this mistake is go on Airbnb, look for whatever market you want to invest in, and see how many properties pop up if you're looking for a 60-day stay. If there's a lot of competitors, that's going to be really hard. If there's not a lot of competitors, well, that's a good sign. And question number 10 is actually not a question. It's actually going to be me letting you guys know if you have any specific midterm rental questions, shoot me a DM. I'll either answer it for you right there on Instagram. If it's a big enough question, I can make a whole separate podcast episode about it. But I'm here to help you guys on your midterm rental journey. Don't be hesitant to reach out. I'm here for you guys, and I look forward to helping you guys on your journey. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.